let's start
Tanya.
us off by introducing ourselves. My name is Rais and I'm the interviewer for today. And you might be, your name is?
I'm Yusuf Naim bin Muhammad Adillah,
Okay,
and currently I'm working as a principal software engineer.
okay. What got you into doing software engineering?
What got me into software engineering? So basically, when during my childhood days, my mom used to work as a software engineer. So there are times that when I go to my mom's office, and I found that my mom's workspace is much cooler than others.
Oh,
Reason being is because my mom was patient to have like two screens or multiple of screens, and they
oh,
have languages that I don't even understand. And I remember asking my mom, "What is this?" And he said that this what programmer does. So since that day, I wanted to be a software engineer. And of course software engineers are doing as a programmer, we always work on something new every day. Is a very challenging job. The technology is very quick, and it's like playing chess every day, so there's always something new. It's something that cannot be memorized. It's something that I would say software engineering is like an art. It's like always something new every day,
ah.
so it is a fun career with a good pay.
Okay. What do you think uh, the skills that I need to hone that are, okay. Good traits or skill is necessary for pursuing as an engineer. Okay. What do you think that sort of skills do you think that future engineer need to hone?
Well, it depends on because engineer itself is a very wide range. So it depends
Yes.
on which sector that you choose. So so basically the most common engineers that people always knows of is like civil engineering, mechanical engineering, petrol
Yes.
engineering. But nowadays in the new technology era, we have something called software engineering. So for software engineering, for me, it's like it totally differs than other engineering. Reason being is because I know this is going to sound a bit, some people won't happy to hear my answer, but here's the thing: to become a doctor,
Okay.
when you are doing a medical study, you can score your exams and you can score your career just by 100% by memorizing the things.
Okay.
Same goes to other engineers as well, like civil engineering, all those. They already have all those formulas, they just need to memorize
Yeah,
it
yeah, I
and
remember.
implement it. But for software engineering, there's no such thing as memorizing. You cannot memorize it. How are you capable to memorize how to do coding? It's
Yeah.
like every time it's always a new thing. So it cannot be memorized. So software engineering is like, I would say for software engineers, it's like a different kind of breed to
Mhm.
pursue this kind of career. So I would say one of the attributes that you need to have is of course persistency. Reason being because in order to, like, if you are starting from ground, from the bottom, of course you need to start from bottom, right?
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's not easy at all. And even myself, as someone that is already experienced, like for close to 7 to 8 years, as someone that already, I would say that already climb the ladders to be at the top management as a principal software engineer, even me myself is still learning. There's always something new because technology that is evolving. There's always something new. So basically, I would say persistency. You need to be able to adapt to your environment, and then of course, you need to have. You need to be creative. I think being creative is like the main attribute of a software engineer,
Oh, okay.
and you always
Uh,
need to think outside of the box, and of course have a very good critical thinking skills.
well, do you think uh, be a team person is important as well as a software engineer?
Yes, being a team person is very important as a software engineer. Well, reason being is that let's imagine, what now this was the most popular. Let's imagine like Facebook, for example. Okay,
Okay.
Facebook application. Application does not just involve software engineers. It involves data engineers that maintains the data for reporting. It also involves like database engineer that
Oh,
how
okay.
to store the data. It also involve DevOps engineer that maintain the server to go up 100% availability rate. There's also like business people, and then of course you need to be a team people because everything works. Every programming that you do, right, or maybe every project that you do, it involve a lot of people. It does not just involve software engineers. It also involve business people, like all those other
Yeah.
key areas that I mentioned. So by that, I will say one important attribute as a software engineer, like the previous question that you asked,
Okay.
is communication skills. It's really really
Oh,
important. So by having good communication skills, it can bring you to places.
okay, okay. Uh, what are the some of the challenges that you have encountered that are so difficult, and how do you usually solve them? Is
Well, the thing is, I mean, every career also will have its own difficulties, isn't it?
yes, yes,
Like for example, as a doctor, you have difficulties of like treating your patient. If you're civil engineer, I'm sure if there's a crack bridges, you will have a problem. But as a software engineer, there is one unique challenges, I would say. It's called something, I forgot what's the word. What is actually the word? Hold up.
debugging.
No, it's not debugging. That's one word about uh programmer. Let me do a quick Google. I forgot what's the word. Well, okay. I totally forgot. Oh yeah, imposter. There's one unique challenge by most of the programmers. I will say normally it happens to great programmers or happens to someone that is having a high position in software development. It is being called as programmer imposter syndrome. So this programmer imposter syndrome is a very common syndrome that happen to most of the programmers. So reason being is because basically the imposter syndrome is that you feel like you are not good enough in what you are doing, and you feel like you
Ah,
are not ready for your position. Like for example, like me myself, I'm only 28 years old and I'm already a principal software engineer. So it's like a very very fast kind of career progression, and at the same time the technology is always evolving. So the feeling of imposter syndrome is always there. You feel like, are you really right for this job? Are you doing it the right way? Oh man, am I using the right technology? Am I using the right tools? So this kind of thinking is always there. I think this is like the most common challenges, as for me, and of course for my other programmer people as well. So how we overcome it is basically, we just need to trust ourselves and be confident over it, because at the end of the day, the employer, the employee promote you or recruit you because of a reason, and at the end of the day, you have no choice but to do research on the new technology and frameworks, and of course to keep reading and to widen your skill and your depth of your skills.
okay. I'm sure you are good at your work. And you talked about being a software engineer is hard. Do you think it is fun, and do you recommend it to others?
It is fun. If I'm being well, software engineers is a very fun career. As I mentioned, every day is always a new thing. It's like playing a
Yeah.
chess. If you play chess, right, you couldn't memorize the move. It's always you need to adapt to whatever is happening, and there's always new strategies, new ways of doing it. So that's why I keep saying that software engineering is like playing chess. Would I recommend to others to take software engineering? Well, it depends, because not everyone can actually do software engineering.
Yes.
Because as I mentioned earlier, right, software engineering requires a special breed of people, because it is something that you cannot memorize. It comes. It's like an art. You need to be creative. Always keep thinking of the box. All those critical thinking. So it depends. But to those people that really want to be a software engineers,
Go
well,
for it.
obviously most of people want to be a software engineer because of
Yeah.
the pay.
Because
And the pay is very good. And the thing is, I will say that here's the thing. At the moment, we are in our IR 4.0. Have you heard about this?
yes, I have.
This so we have IR 4.0 and 5.0. But the thing is, 5.0 is already happening. It's already happening. It's just that in Malaysia, I have no idea why this politicians and whatnot, right, keep saying that we are going to 5.0. We are already 5.0. Here's the thing: the difference between 4.0 and 5.0, right, is that 4.0 is more towards development. We are creating new applications. We are creating a lot of things.
Yeah.
But in 5.0, It's all about data. Reason being is that for 4.0, right, when you create application, whatnot, a lot of data is coming in. Whenever, like, for example, you use Facebook, you sign up, whatnot, and then you post this, you post that. All those data is being stored somewhere. And in 5.0, we are going to focus to make use of this data that is being stored for how many years? For a decade, I think. So basically, for IR 5.0, right, it will no longer be software engineering. Well, software engineers will still be required, but I would recommend to the maybe to the students, like those that wanted to pursue IT industry, to focus on other things. Like, for example, data engineering. Data engineering is going to be a very good market soon. And then we have also something called cyber security or network
Yeah.
security. All this cyber security, right? Do you know that in Malaysia, right? A lot of companies are looking for cyber security, but we do not have
Few of
the
them, right?
supply. We have a lot of demands for cyber security. We have a lot of demands for data engineers, but we do not have it in Malaysia. And you know what is currently happening in Malaysia? We are actually taking people from overseas to take the job for cybersecurity and data engineers.
Mm.
So basically, I would recommend to others, yes, you can pursue software engineering if you want, but if you are looking for
Job
more
opportunity.
higher pay or
Yeah.
something that high demand in years to come, I would highly recommend to take data engineering, data scientists, Power BI, all this, business intelligence, Power BI, AI things, and also, of course, cybersecurity,
Mm.
to take it as consideration for your career.
Okay. Last question. Do you consider a game a software?
A game
Yes.
is indeed a software.
Okay.
It is a software.
Okay, that was my last question, and I thank you for your time, and I wish you all the best.